Okay, this is a follow-up video on the 35th anniversary supercharged tune port car. It's been at my buddy's place for over a month doing the door repair where we had this edge damaged right here. So I had him work on it. It looks pretty good. He just painted that localized area. I didn't have him go into anything else, and fair enough, you know, I can tell it was done, but most people won't be able to, but I think it'll be fine. So it'll be what it is until I decide to rip all the paint off the car and start over and turn it into some sort of concourse condition car, of which it's closed right now, but down the road they'll have a different level of demands, just like they do on old muscle cars like that Shelby over there. They expect the paint to be perfect, of which when it was made new in 1968, it was absolutely intolerable. But rose-colored glasses prevail. So anyway, beyond that, it's darn near in perfect condition now. We're gonna do a little detailing up since it was there for a month, but it's pretty detailed. It's just need a few things. But motor's got about maybe 150 miles on this configuration now, and got to put it to a little bit of a test, and I can tell you it's very strong, that's for sure. Power wise, I don't know what it is at yet, but I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to come in at, because it came in it before, but I think this is going to be a little bit stronger. But this is running on just pump gas, our 93 actually our 92 non-ethanol fuel is what I'm running in this. And then I'm running a very light mixture of windshield washer fluid in that thing, of which I'm going to get the better stuff and put in there. This is just to get it around. And I can say that it's going to need probably about 95 octane to really run safely on this. I have the timing down to almost zero. You will get some detonation on transition from going into boost, and the detonation is light, but it's there. So that a higher octane fuel will probably tame that out a little bit and hopefully allow me to get the timing up just a little bit more. But once the methanol injection kicks in, because it does take a little bit of transition period for that to go into the motor, then the detonation stops, and you can feel the motor start to pull really hard then. And I've honestly had it up in fourth overdrive to a little over 170 miles an hour in just a second, really fast. So I wasn't even trying to do that. This is kind of a test. So yeah, this thing is a runner for sure. And I estimate the rear wheel horsepower is going to be in right around, high fours, and probably in the mid fives on torque. So that's what it should come in at. And it's very linear. It's pulling good. It's pulling up to 5,500 RPM strong. I haven't tried to rev it any higher than that, but I think it will go higher with these bigger runners. And it's not laying down up there, I can tell you that much. It's definitely pulling at a higher RPM than it was before. And usually you get around 5 and you can kind of feel it taper off, even though it's still pulled a little, but it's not. So I think with the 95 octane, running the timing up to probably 4 degrees initial on this thing, and then running the boost juice type of product into the methanol injection, I think it's going to pick up quite a bit. Even though the motor has more power without the methanol injection, for sure. But that's to bring down the intake temperatures, because this is not a intercooled motor. And it just also prevents the detonation, of which you can definitely destroy this motor, no problem, running that supercharger on it without it, and especially on pump gas. So that's a must on these setups. So that's just kind of the overview there. And if you followed these videos, then you've seen this motor all the way down to the crankshaft and built up from there. If you haven't, then you can just go back and see the other videos on this. There's, I don't know, maybe 17 videos in this that bring it from the crankshaft build up to to what it is now, install and all. So we're gonna get it a little bit more dialed in there. I'm gonna probably try and get some race fuel next week. I need it for another application also, and some boost juice, and then start playing with it a little bit more. But right now, just the way it is, other than that transition detonation, it's very strong, and it's very capable. And so I think it's gonna come together really, really well. And it's gonna back to where we were there. And it's the inside of the car. So that needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's not bad right now. And for those who've asked before, I think a lot of people have asked, this is actually number 349. So almost made it to 350, but it's 349. And I can't remember the total production of these just off the top of my head. I think it was 2,100 or 1,800, somewhere in that range. But again, what makes this car unique, other than the customization with the supercharger and the fact that it's got the history of that all the way back to Paxton, JR Granatelli, and all that stuff, it is a 4+3 car. So, and the 4+3 35th anniversary cars are extremely rare. So that's what makes it unique. And there's nothing to really brag about a 4+3, because most either people like them or they hate them. And I would agree to hate them unless you do the right things to them. And if you do the right things to them, they're very, very cool transmissions to run, even more so than the ZF, because one of the things that you can do if you like street race, don't talk about that, you can just go along in fourth gear, overdrive, where your engine's just lugging, just and you sound like you're just little grandma, and you got your finger on the switch. And as soon as the other guy hits it, you just kick it out of overdrive, and you're up in the RPMs and gone. And you can definitely just say, go whenever you want with a car like this, and then come back. Now, I'm not sure I can do that against an 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower car or anything like that, but I can definitely outrun, this will definitely outrun a Corvette with an equal 500 horsepower, because this has the torque to do it. And so if you got an equal 500 horsepower, you're not going to be making the torque this supercharged car, TPI car, does. So that's where it's gonna really run you. So that's kind of the difference with that. Is that, you know, you can run like a ZR1, and a ZR1 is very, very capable car, a 90 ZR1, but it won't run with these. And then something like a C6 ZR1, who knows? I don't know how they would stack up. Haven't even tried it. It may not even be a challenge for that car against this, but I think, you know, in the day when this thing ran, there was very few cars that could beat it, and this is pulling cars right off of trailers that would you know, run 11s. And so this thing here is a different animal from a day gone by. Back to vintage TPI batch fire injection. So we're still pushing it, still going fast with it. I think the poor guy in the C7 that I ran into today is wondering what hit him. So that's where we got up to the speed on the highway, just coming back from my buddy's place. It's like, oh my God, what did this car just do to me? So yeah, he was a little bit stumped. So that's what an old TPI with a blower can do. But like I said, it takes more than just slapping a blower on them. It's a lot of tuning, a lot of work, and a lot of understanding of how all this stuff goes together, and a lot of running it in its range where it needs to run, and not try to make it something that it's not. That's the big one that people just can't get. And if you get that, then you can go fast in one of these. If you don't get that, then you're just gonna hate it. But anyway, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Watch for more on this car. Once we finish up, just some light touch-ups here and things like that on the stuff we've done to it, and then I'm going to start putting some numbers to it and see what it can really do. Thanks for watching.